Here we go! It's time to do this once again! It's time to dim the lights and let the feedback build! 3 clicks and sticks, and we're ready to explode! We sing along!
This content is for informational and educational purposes only. You should not construe any such information or other material as legal, tax, investment, financial, or other advice. Nothing contained here constitutes a solicitation, recommendation, endorsement, or offer to buy or sell any securities or other financial instruments whatsoever by Draper Gorin Blockchain, aka DGB, the presenter, or other associated parties for the content being provided. Please do your own due diligence and seek proper counsel.
Boom.
So is it over yet? Is the cycle over?
The cycle?
Bitcoin's at 95,000.
Did it ever start?
I don't know. That's what I'm wondering. Is Bitcoin a deal right now, or is it expensive?
It's always a deal.
Is it?
Right?
Is it always a deal?
I mean, if we're being true to what we say all the time, right? We always say, you know, at least personally, we both feel like you can never have enough, right? And all that fun stuff.
Is this the first market where we just completely continue to trade horizontally? I mean, like, you know, I like to follow the Bitcoin Pi cycle top indicator.
Wait, say that again. The Bitcoin what?
Bitcoin Pi cycle top indicator. Okay. Bitcoin Pi cycle chart. It's considered one of the better charts out there, at least as far as I'm concerned.
Can you show us it?
Can I show you it? I probably can, but I'd have to join another screen. Give me a second. I'm not that.
All right. Tell me what the stuff first, so that I don't distract.
Okay. So traditionally, it has really well like indicated the top of every cycle. Well, I'm going to show you right now. Hold on.
Oh, okay.
Use this computer real quick. This is kind of being annoying. Okay.
I won't bring it on stage till you tell me.
No, you can bring it on stage. Meet the night.
It doesn't look like it has anything on it.
You're right. It has. Yeah. So hold on. Remove that for a minute. Let me share screen. We will share this magic window over here. And thank you, Bitcoin Magazine Bro, for this. So, Bitcoin Pi cycle top indicator. All right. Somebody showed me this in the last cycle, and he's all like, "Oh yeah, the Bitcoin Pi cycle chart. It's never been wrong, right?" And I was like, "What?" You know. And this is when we had the double top, right? We had this double top going on in the last period.
Yeah.
But lo and behold, like it triggered right here, and even though it came back up, if you had sold at the Bitcoin Pi cycle top, you had sold the top, essentially, right? Same thing here, same thing here. Like, you know, like if you go further back, like it's a pretty good indicator. You would sell at a high.
How does this math work? Because
it like uses pi and some fancy stuff. It's moving averages. It's moving averages, right?
Okay.
But it's just like, you know, moving averages of pi, mathematical and stuff. But the thing is it seems to do a pretty good job at depicting it. Well, we're not there yet. I'm thinking like April, May, maybe.
If I remove the demo thing from the stage, will the screen stay on? Hold on, I'm gonna test something. Oh, sweet. Okay, cool. Never mind. Keep going.
No, so I you know, the question is are we going to get a pop? Now people will say that, you know, maybe in October they're thinking. I don't know, April, May. You know, but
what's happening then?
It's going to be interesting. Well, like right now, they're talking about having, you know, is the government going to inject a whole bunch of liquidity, you know, because they've got debt issues, right? So I don't know. It's going to be fascinating to see, you know. It's, you know, they're also, you know, but you hear a rumor that, you know, that we're trading horizontally because they make more money liquidating long and short positions on Bitcoin than anything else, right?
Yeah.
So get people excited, get all the long positions up, and then drop it and liquidate it down, and then people start shorting it, and then pump the price up and liquidate people shorting, and and it's just maybe we just continue to trade horizontally. And this chart really has an experience of Bitcoin that traded horizontally.
Yeah.
It's going to be the arms race. It's going to be the arms race of getting more countries and states and jurisdictions, municipalities stockpiling Bitcoin, just doing it at this high level. But it's like, I think some people are just like, well, why isn't there some big announcement about the reserve yet? It's like, I think because things moved so fast, we expect it's not even like 2 weeks or whatever. He's been in office.
Nothing happens quickly.
Yeah, but also I also think
they're still in government, even if they pretend they're not.
Yeah.
They're still running government,
We've
which
done
is
a
the
really
slowest
good job.
organization ever.
Doge's done a great job cutting stuff so far, and people are pissed about it. At least
But if you were to do that, if you were to get like a national stable or a crypto reserve or a Bitcoin reserve, what would you need? And you knew what was going to happen, like, it was going to be competitive and everything in other countries. What would you do first? What would you do in the prelim before even announcing it? Because whatever announcement you make is going to change the price, and you don't want that to happen. What would you do first in the groundwork?
You buy it. You buy it quietly. You keep it low as possible. You got to keep buying. Just
Well, maybe
keep
you can't
buying.
do it.
Just keep buying.
Are you saying, Kevin, if you can't buy it yet, then you'd want to lower the price so that when you buy it, you can be a hero?
Well, I think it'll be more dynamic than simply just buying a regular amount, dollar cost averaging your Bitcoin at a government level. Maybe it's going to be more strategic than that. Maybe you need the right
government taking.
Maybe there's trading involved. Taking. Maybe, yeah. And but like and also you don't want to say now like, yep, we're going to do it. And in 90 days it'll start or something. What's going to happen in 90 days? Well, the price is going to shoot up like crazy, and then it's going to be really expensive for you to buy, way more than if you just did it. Like you probably set everything up first, and then be like, oh, hey, we just started.
So now the story is, if you're a country mining Bitcoin, you do not want to make it public, because just like they might have came and took your gold, they're going to come and take the Bitcoin now instead.
Conquistadors coming with their hardware wallets.
Yes, for their hardware wallets.
We bring you Christianity and we take your Bitcoin. That is what we do.
It's been fascinating though watching ETH. ETH has not been performing well. Solana's done fairly well over the last few months, but that's because so many people are talking about it over on Twitter or X. I do want to get your buddy. You said Kruger, right?
Fred,
yeah. I want to get Fred on our show.
We can do that. We could just ask him anytime. He'll do it.
Okay, well, we should have him on it because he started up a new show. I don't know if you saw it. He started up a show on X, and they talk about meme coins. And they
is he just trolling his friends? What's great is I used to troll him, goofing around, pretending, because he was very Maxi-like. Although,
he's completely degenerate now. It's horrible.
Oh, I love it.
I mean, I had some
what's funny is because if you're buying, here's the thing: is you can love Michael Saylor, right? Yeah. But if you're buying the shares in his company, you're not a Bitcoin Maxi, right? Because what?
So that means Fred's not a Bitcoin Maxi then?
No. I don't think he ever was, right? And he was honest about it, but he was mostly talking about Bitcoin. If you're care and you're buying Bitcoin ETFs, you're not a Bitcoin Maxi, right? Because if we're going to the extreme sense, right? And so the extreme people are always going to be pissed no matter what, right? They shouldn't, just going by their ideals, they should be mad at everyone all the time.
I feel bad for if you're a Bitcoin Maxi because you're gonna be waiting a really long time.
I mean, you shouldn't feel bad for Bitcoin Maxi.
I don't feel bad. I mean,
you know what you should feel bad about? You should feel bad about that they choose to be so angry and upset all the time when they should be so happy, right?
Right.
You just go, if the whole thing that you believe in is just buying and accumulating Bitcoin, and you've done that for years, you should be stoked on life. they're
Yeah.
like, fighting with people about how competitive
Well, the sad part is
Solana is to what you do is nonsense, right?
The sad part is I think a lot of them still have to actually convert it back into fiat at some point.
I mean, who knows?
Yeah.
Maybe it's because well, if you are just pinning everything on one thing, the highs come seasonally.
Yeah.
And and most of the other time you're just kind of like anxious, even during a crypto bull cycle, you get pretty anxious because nobody buys at the perfect time. There is no perfect time. But and if all you're thinking, like you're gonna be just off, and you just have to make your peace with that, and that's a success.
Time.
But if you're a Bitcoin absolutist and you're just a Bitcoin maxi and that's all you're doing, then yeah, you're going to be upset. It's going to lead to being upset most of the time.
But
kind of like sports.
I think that's with everything, right? Have you ever heard the saying, "There's no fun in fundamentalism"? Right? You can't be happy if you're a fundamentalist. Anything, right? And what's the point of life? And what's the point of existence? And we were joking, but not joking about what's each and every one of our purpose in this world of AI. Like, let's pretend we all lose our jobs and we don't have the same purpose we do today. Or I know a lot of us find our purpose in earning a living and doing what we do, right?
I found Clubhouse for that.
Right? So now what's our purpose? What's the point, right? And if we're a fundamentalist about any specific thing, you're going to be angry all the time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You'd be unhappy that other folks don't agree with you.
Unless you're fundamentally right.
Unless you're fundamentally right. Yeah, the beauty is that nothing what's that saying? Well, I'm going full philosophical right
now. Nothing gold can stay.
Look, there is
by the way,
nothing is constant other than change, right? So even if you're fundamentally right, it might only be for one moment, right? And so and then you're wrong again.
Those moments, bro.
Yeah, I mean exactly.
Yeah, if you think of sports, like more sports leagues have like 32 teams, something like that. And if you think law of averages, you're probably only going to see your team win the big one, whatever that is, 1 to 3 times in your lifetime. That's it. It's a rare exception if it's a little bit more than that, if you're a Patriots fan or whatever. But that's the average. Most of the time, most of your life as a fan, you're going to be disappointed.
You know what? The people who are bandwagoners are happier more often, and they change teams all the time.
Fair weather
and so maybe we're wrong, right?
Well,
by having a team to begin with.
Yeah.
Who watched
the Super Bowl? It was a very unexciting Super Bowl, to be honest.
For me,
Kevin feels different. Okay, go. Why was it exciting to you? I'm glad. I had a great time.
Philly, and we
well, there you go.
We
set anything on fire afterwards?
No, I was not in Philly to destroy the city that we love.
I mean, you don't have to be in Philly to set something on fire.
True, but we've had enough of that in LA. So.
Yeah, in LA, yeah, no, it's not good.
I enjoyed from afar. It was nice watching the live streams on YouTube.
Okay. Congratulations! I'm glad you won.
But we won it in 2018 as well. So that's basically it for me for my life. Maybe I'll see.
That's it. You got nothing else. What's the point of living?
Maybe one more we'll get one more. But it's like it's in terms of just pure probability, it's unlikely. Like that you'll see more of those things. Like if you're a Pats fan, it's just unlikely you'll see another one in your lifetime.
Sad.
You
can't think like that. Why do you think like that?
But that assumes that it's a fair playing field. That just assumes it's a fair playing field. If you have obviously that's not the case for Major League Baseball because of the way that's run, and things like no salary caps and all this stuff that skews it. For what did Brad Pitt say in Moneyball? You got your rich teams, you got your poor teams. Then there's 50 feet of crap. Then there's us. Some blockchains feel that way as well. Just but also you can moneyball things. So if you can moneyball things, well, that's a whole different story.
I'm so confused right now.
Okay, by the way, a great name for a Fred Krueger podcast would be Nightmare on Wall Street.
Yeah, we should pitch him these ideas when he
I
comes
expect
on.
to be paid.
No.
for,
We're gonna have him on, and we're gonna call it the Nightmare in Crypto.
You think he leans into that? Because I don't know if I've ever had that
Probably
discussion
not.
with him. I met him many years ago. We spent a lot of time together back then, but I haven't hung with him a lot lately. But
He was born
I mean,
before
his
those
name-
movies came out. So
Yeah,
I mean,
no, if he was born afterwards, his parents would be the biggest assholes of all
horrible.
time, right?
Or just
Imagine, could you imagine? You know, like your kid names you, your parents name you Freddy Krueger after the movies. Those
Yeah.
are just messed up parents.
Well, Conan O'Brien talks about like he used to have like a normal kind of cool name, and then the Schwarzenegger movies came out, and then it was just like,
Is he that
he get-
old? That because I mean, he must have been a
61,
little
I think.
kid.
yeah.
So, but he must have
60
been a little kid when. I guess those movies were 80s.
Yeah, he grew up in the.
So he must have been in
70s.
his 20s then. He must have been in his 20s when those movies came out. Yeah, that really sucks. Conan. Those movies were great. I watched part of it. I showed my kid like just like a YouTube clip of it, and it just like they were so confused.
Actually,
It was
the
so
guy
bad. It
who
was so
wrote
good.
directed Conan lives across from me.
Oh, really?
I didn't know that till a number of years of like living here, and then but like I'd see like celebs once in a while like come to the door and everything, you know, or it's like let someone in. It's like that was whatever Hamilton or whatever, and it's just like and it's like what is this guy? So then I look up his name and I was like, oh shit, I know those movies. He wrote like Dirty Harry movies. He wrote the Dirty Harry movies.
Oh, crazy.
Apocalypse Now, all those things. John Milius.
That's a weird thing about
great
LA. Sometimes you like meet people, and so many people are kind of fake it till you make it LA people. So they're maybe sort of involved in something and they take credit for it. And you just assume everyone's full of crap all the time. And then every once in a while you meet somebody who's like humble or doesn't talk about it every single moment of their life. And then you like don't believe it, but you're like, wait, really? That's that person?
Integrity.
LA have fun like that. Yeah, integrity is few and far between.
Yeah. There are I've distilled there are four modes of insecurity. I'll tell you about it one day. We'll
Tell us about it.
That's my TED
we
talk.
We can
But
talk about it.
two-
Four
two
modes
of
of
them are-
insecurity.
Two of them are actually kind of healthy and okay. The
One
other
of
two
those is
are
those
toxic.
who are still on Tezos.
Oh, well, you
he's
have to
making a
have-
Tezos joke. Oh
have to have-
man, I missed it.
Tezos,
Wait, what did
you
he
gotta
say?
you gotta have high emotional intelligence to be in Tezos.
And at this point, you either
to
have
still
to be
be-
so secure in your decision, or you've got to be, you know.
Oh yes,
there's-
you got to know
it's a-
something others don't, or feel that way. So you got to feel that.
problem
way.
with
You gotta feel
knowing
that it's
something
right.
that others don't is you may go through a lifetime where nobody
it's all
else
public.
ever learns also, and you just spent your life knowing things other people didn't.
Or the hard part is done, and the easy part is just letting people know. I think that's where we are. That's honestly where I think we are.
Sometimes-
It's just about finding
Okay,
the right
now-
way at the right time.
Sometimes
So,
the
yeah.
hardest part is just letting go.
No. But no, I think the good people who there's like an inward way.
I want
and
to
an outward way
excuse.
for both.
I want to excuse
But, like-
everything I say today.
And this is
Oh,
why
you already
very
did the disclaimer
emotional.
at the beginning.
This is why
No, but
Kevin
some
is
people,
Jesus.
no, but some people are like, you know, like you'll give them praise or whatever. They're like, me, no, I'm nothing. I'm, you know, whatever. You're like, oh, I'm not going to get that thing. I'm not going to get that job. I'm not going to get into that school. You know, you know, they're like they'll self-deprecate.
It hurts
you know,
me when my friends and
self-deprecation
family say
is
shit
an
like that.
insecurity. So there are actually studies on this. Yeah, self-deprecation. People who self-deprecate constantly, like it's a defense mechanism of trying to. Well, sometimes it's to make other people feel comfortable, but sometimes it's to like just get ahead. Like if you're insecure, it's like they're gonna find out I'm a fraud, so I better just get ahead of it. So
You know what's really funny is
you know?
this. I think you're right. I think that a lot of people have feelings of like, why am I even here? Right? You're in a room full of. We're
Imposter
in this
syndrome.
space, right? Well,
Yeah.
we're in this space, and you could very
Totally.
easily feel that way if you're me, right? Because you're surrounded by the smartest people in the world all the time, right? Most people in our space could feel that way, right? And I think you make jokes and whatever, but you're here. You shouldn't feel that way at all. But something I talk about with family a lot and stuff, or different people in my life is they go like I truly believe when I look at the people that I love and I look at my kids and I literally like look at like the portfolio of DGB and DGH and everything, like I think of everyone like family. And I truly believe, like, when I say certain things, that like these people are the smartest people in the whole freaking world, and they can do anything in the whole entire world. And I have like a confidence that I might not have in myself, but I kind of have in myself, that everyone could do anything, right? Like, and I say things about my kids, or I say things about family members. Like, somebody will say something, you know, about my brother. Let's give like an example, and I don't know exactly what, but like my wife will say something, and I'll be like, no, you don't get it. I'm not saying it because I think it's like the nice thing to say, like they'll get through it or they'll do this. I know it. Like, I truly, like, you know, people go like manifest shit and whatever. I don't have to manifest shit, because if somebody goes like, oh, Kevin, you know, poor guy, lives on Tezos his whole life, I'll be like, Kevin's going to be great. Kevin's going to fucking kill it. Maybe it won't be today. Maybe it won't be tomorrow. But I know for a fact.
So that's the second.
It's not me saying a nice thing. It's like, I truly know it. And I have this.
So here's the thing.
So that's the second circle. It's the outward. So it's that same kind of like humbling, but like you know, and maybe, you know, but it's also like you know, and sometimes it's for that reason. Like you're generous in that. That's like the character. Sometimes it's like the positive insecurity. Like, it's the kind of thing where it's like, look, I know my place in the universe. I am a speck in it. And you know what? This person, you're killing it. Me, no, you're doing great. You're the one.
No,
and the other two are the
I think there is a bit of maybe
toxic insecurity.
Okay.
Is,
I think there's an
you gotta learn. Let me finish the whole thing. So the other two are like, they parallel those first two, but they're in a toxic way. So like the one who's like, I'm self-deprecating or whatever, it's the pompous person. The one who's like, I'm doing great. I'm kicking ass. My thing, it's going to be bigger than the thing that you think is the thing. You know, this thing is going to be bigger than that. You know, but it's building oneself up. And that can be like, you know, you can have a friend who's like that and they're still your buddy, but it's like, they're at it again or whatever. That's actually fine. It's toxic, but it's like, it's pompous. Then there's the worst thing in the world, which is people who, which is the fourth circle. And that is, it's outward facing, but it's putting other people down. It's like, to build myself up, I got to make other people come down. And
that's
it's like,
the extreme insecurity. They don't actually believe that they're better.
Right. There are founders who are like that. And it's like, that's when I know, oh, this person has a firestorm behind them. like why else would they act like that? No one. If you're confident, no, you're up there. You're doing
the important part. I think the important part is you having the confidence to show up every day, right? Because as long as you continue to show up every day and you're confident that you can find a way and solve a problem, you will eventually find a way to get where you need to be.
Yep.
Right. It's just showing up. The problem is most people stop short. They don't show up. And so it's
the easiest way to not have to take responsibility for potential failure or something not happening is not starting it to begin with, right? Or
blaming someone else for why you didn't start. That's the other thing that happens, because it's like you can't take blame for that. But so you can see that a lot. People set up the pieces to, like, you know, it's like they're not, whereas they could be building or doing stuff, they're just setting up the pieces to blame someone else when they inevitably and invariably exit.
And I've heard somebody more recently say something like toxic positivity about someone who's just always confident, always happy, or always telling someone you got this, whatever. And they're like, sometimes you want to hear, you know, it's okay to fail or whatever. But I kind of, going back to what you were saying, like, I'm a speck in the universe. We're so freaking full of ourselves, talking about even us three right now, right? If we don't believe we're a speck in the universe, if we thought we were a speck in the universe and what we do and think and say is not so important, why the fuck would be on a live stream right now telling people what we think is our opinion or whatever?
It's Tuesday at 10 o'clock.
That's right. It's Tuesday at 10 o'clock. And we're going to show up and give you our opinion. Although I don't think we're really like that in the extreme sense I'm saying it. But I do believe almost religiously, like I do. I'm like an extremely religious person without having religion, right? I truly believe that we can change the world if that's what we want to do. And Emilio, don't try to get us on track and back on our regular conversation. Yes,
right.
That's right.
I mean, it's people's self-importance and greed that led to the corruption of the banks, which led to Bitcoin's creation and proliferation all over the world.
And I truly believe that there's a lot of people who are in things for the wrong reasons, in things for the right reasons. I think we've surrounded ourselves with people who are mostly in it for the absolute right reasons. And in the long term, we will change people's lives. Rankin, coming into this live stream right now, mentioned that he does he does a Bitcoin meetup. Everybody should check out the Sacramento
Cap City BTC meetup in Sacramento.
Cap City. I wanted to say Sac City, and I knew that was wrong. The Cap City BTC meetup. He does that. Somebody came in, and he always asks the newbies like what they want to learn, what they came in for. And somebody just set Rankin up on a silver platter last night and said, I want to learn about liquidity pools. And he gave a 2-hour presentation that I wish I could have seen.
I wish I recorded it.
I know. We were talking about that too. And just brought that into the universe, right? Like that is someone showing up for the right reasons. He's obsessed with liquidity pools for certain reasons, but he wants everyone to know about it. He wants everyone to benefit from it. And we can change the world with this stuff, right?
Well, and this guy came from a real estate background. He said he's done flips for the last 40 years, done over 400 houses. He buys them on the court steps, renovates them, does whatever he needs, and then sells them, right? And he's all like, real estate's too much work. You know, I was making 100%, on my money at the time. But I stopped doing real estate because I retired from it. And he's all, now I'm starting to realize what inflation is because I'm not multiplying my money all the time. And now I'm seeing being spent. He's all, I've heard about these things called liquidity pools where you can make, 10, 20, 50%. And he's all, I'd like to learn more. And I said, cool, let's talk about liquidity pools tonight.
I love it. I absolutely love it. But that's an interesting thing, right? A lot of us, and I always talk about my dad's business, right? Because had an auto parts shop, and I thought of it at the time as this dinky, tiny little business. But now as an adult, I'm like, talk about how it fed 10 families over the years. It paid for me and my brothers to go to college. It paid for a great house in a wonderful neighborhood in Southern California. Like, I should have no complaints, but in my mind, it's a tiny business. We're going to build internet companies, these big giant businesses. But if you kind of go back, this dude did the same thing, but now he's in this point. He didn't hold clearly any of that real estate to benefit from that inflation and stuff. He just made a good living. But then what happens to people who make a good living? Retirement catches up with you. And then what do you do, right? And I think we've learned holding assets and doing things is the long-term wealth creation thing, right? There's nothing wrong with what the traditional world does. But at the end of the day, there's different angles to look at it. And if my parents had spent, honestly, if we had taken the money that we paid to off my brothers and I's student loans over the years, which my parents insisted on paying, right? Which is crazy. They wouldn't let us pay our student loans, so they paid them off. They were insistent on it. That was like pride for them. They wanted to pay for their kids' school, right? And that's a cool thing. But if they would have taken that money, bought some real estate instead, or some gold, or God forbid, some Bitcoin or something, they'd be generationally wealthy instead of paying for that school that me and my brothers didn't really use. Right? Like, if I didn't go to school, I'd probably still have the same job I have now. Maybe I'd be a little further ahead because I could have done it a few years earlier. Who knows? Or maybe not. Maybe I'd do what I tried to do for about 10 seconds. I bought all the books to be a real estate agent when I was with my wife, when I first met her. And this is my wanting to spend more time with her saved my life, in my opinion, because I literally, a week into studying for this real estate stuff, and by studying, I mean buying the books and barely cracking them. I was going to take the real estate test, so I was going to have to cram at some point. I realized, real estate agents work nights and weekends. My wife has a job where she works a normal job. If I'm working nights and weekends, I'll never get to spend time with her. And I was like, fuck this. I don't want to be a real estate agent and work on the weekends and never spend time with my family. And so I literally just threw away the books, or I gave them to somebody else who was studying for the test, and I never took the test. But like, we all figure it out eventually. But where I'm going with all of that is,
it'd be great to know who got those books and where they're at. If they're real estate agents.
Turns out they're billionaires, and I made the absolute wrong decision. Here's the thing. One of my favorite Isaac Asimov stories, and then we'll get back onto the subject, is about this guy. There's this one. I forgot what it's called. I think I'll find it and I'll share it with everyone. But it was basically Isaac Asimov wrote a story for this competition or festival or magazine or something, where they did this thing where they had every science fiction writer write a story that could fit on the back of a postcard. The whole idea was fit the whole story on a postcard and send it in. And his whole story was a short story about a person who worked as like a clerk at the time, essentially like somebody in a cubicle, right? Working in the big machine and super unhappy their whole life. But they knew the moment where their life went wrong. They knew the moment. They wanted to be like an astronaut, an engineer, or something special. And they fucked up a placement test in school. And they knew that if they would have done better on that test, they would have gotten onto a different track and it would have changed their life, like this inflection point in their life. And their whole life, they agonized over this one moment in their life where they screwed up. They were just agonizing about it, miserable about it. Then they got access to a time machine and they went back in time and they saw themselves, they made sure they studied. Then they saw themselves the next day. They saw they got 100% on the test, killed it. Then they went back to the future. Nothing changed.
Yeah, because it would have been something else. It would have been something else that they fixated on, that like, this screwed me up. And instead of thinking like every moment you can change your track, every given Planck frame of space-time, you can change, you choose your reality. Instead of that, you're just spending all of that fixating on that one point as like irreversible. And it's
Alon and I was talking about this actually before the show, right? Between a friend of his. But what's fascinating is I had a similar experience where I always questioned an event in my life that happened, right? And what was interesting is I met somebody who had a similar path, but chose the opposite choice than what I had chosen, right? And then I saw their life, that how it was after that choice. And it was such an interesting moment because it was one of those things, what if I had done this differently? But to see that in somebody else's life, and see that somebody who did make the other choice, and go, I'm glad I'm not in that position of where they're at. Maybe so much more confident in the stance that I did take, right? We take everything for a reason. And so it's just,
and the struggles get harder and harder as you go through any process or life, So, I mean, if you've had it on the right track early on, you're not really used to thinking like your back is against the wall. You got to keep fight. No, it's the opposite. You expect things to kind of go your way. And when they don't, you're like,
shit doesn't go your way.
Especially there's all expression.
How
when
dare
man plans, God laughs, right?
Yeah.
And it's totally true. We've kind of felt that way throughout life. That every time we try to plan, it maybe happens, doesn't ever happen the way we think it's going to happen.
No. I mean, getting to the business side startup world, right? Nobody fundraising ever has a good time, right? It's never as easy as you expect. It never works the way it works. And that's just part of planning and part of what you have to deal with, right? It's never as easy as you want it to be. It's never going to go the way. And that's how most things are, right? Like people go kind of think about the startup world, right? And it does take a certain person to be able to handle the roller coaster ride of all of it. But a lot of people get the rug pulled out under them at any moment's notice, going that straight and narrow path of working that desk job or working for the big company, because they have no control over layoffs happening out of nowhere, or the president deciding there's going to be a tariff, or whatever thing happens. It's out of your control completely. And when you have your own company, it's in your control, but it's also out of your control, right? Because
you just have more bosses.
Exactly. You just, it's just a part of life, right?
Yeah.
And like you're saying, what did you say? When man makes plans, God laughs.
Yeah, when
right?
man makes plans, God laughs.
Yeah, right.
Mess with this plan. Oh, they planned something.
But there also is no plan,
Would be
right?
terrible.
Because you can't go and guess every decision and be like, this is what God wanted for me, right? Like that's also insane thinking, and you start to lose your mind.
Yeah.
Right.
You have to have a general direction and just start going that direction.
Yes, and do good. That should be your general
some goals
direction.
along the line. This is my goals.
Hey, and don't stop at those goals.
What?
God
Yeah,
wanted
yeah,
the Eagles to
They
win.
make new ones,
So-
right?
Make new goals when you hit those goals. Okay, go, Kevin. Sorry.
God wanted the Eagles to win, as confirmed by Sirianni and Hertz's post-game interviews.
Well,
The
it's
first
nice to
thing
not
was
see the
God
Chiefs
was with
weekend.
us, or God has money on the game apparently. So
Oh, did they?
I don't know. There's a lot of stuff
A
going
lot
on in
of
the world.
people
Apparently,
thank
God
God
cares
for the
about
money
the
they won on
outcome.
that game.
God apparently cares a lot about the outcome of the Super Bowl.
Unfortunately, I didn't watch it.
According to yes.
What'd you do instead?
I
What were you
clambered into
doing?
the house to look for leaks,
Priorities.
and I dug up trees in the backyard, and I actually worked around the house this weekend, which by itself was torture.
That's true. But you know what's funny? If you
Manual labor.
that's
A real
I know,
man
that's
sits on the couch and watches
that's a much
football.
more manly. That is a much more manly thing than sitting on the couch watching
Well,
football, drinking a
drinking
beer, and
beer.
thanking God your team
Cold
won,
one.
or
Well,
cursing God your team lost.
traditionally, we take every Super Bowl Sunday
Oh
as
yeah,
an
you didn't
opportunity to
do
go to
it.
the snow. We usually go to the snow.
Yeah, what happened?
Right. I had a daughter who had a conference she had to go to this weekend, so we had to pick her up that morning. But not only that, is I had a buddy who watches every Super Bowl Sunday, and he wasn't watching this game. And I was like blown away, going, well, that means there's going to be a shit ton of people at the snow park. So I'm like,
Oh, so you thought that's really funny.
By
I
the
only go
way,
to the snow park because there's nobody there on Super Bowl Sunday. If nobody likes the teams, they're going to be there still.
People
I
still
am
watch
wondering-
the Super Bowl for the commercials, the halftime show, and
That's true.
because it's like the Christmas of sporting events. Even the people who don't celebrate. You know,
The biggest secret, the best time to go to the snow park in Northern California is when the 49ers are playing the Super Bowl.
absolutely. I'm sure
Nobody's there.
That'd be a good time.
I mean, it is interesting though, because like I don't know if you've seen the numbers on sports betting in the US, but it's exploded. I mean, it's been going like crazy like year after year, but we're at,
Well,
like,
you could do it.
crazy all-time
You
highs
can
now.
use it. You can
Oh, yeah,
on
the
your
apps
app.
now.
On your,
The
my
apps let
kids
you do
yelled
it,
at me.
that's why.
Yeah, my kids yelled at me
But-
in the middle of the game because they saw a commercial and went, "Get the app on your phone so you could bet on the thing. They give you free money if you bet." And I'm like, "No, there's free money.
Which is it?
There's no free
DraftKings?
money." I don't. Yeah, it was with DraftKings or one of those things. One of those.
Full disclosure, I own some stock in DraftKings.
Yeah.
Well,
broader
I
category is
like
prediction
I
markets,
like
you know?
sports betting, but I was trying to explain to my kids nobody wins. If I loved these sports teams and I was having fun doing it, I'd put money on the team. I've bet on sports lots of times, but I got no skin in this game, so I'm not going to do it. And I explained to them, you always expect to lose. You will lose in the long term, but if you're having fun, I agree with it. But like, I'm not going to bet for the sake of betting when I don't even like either of the teams. What's the
So
point?
what? Yeah, that's when I feel the urge. Like, buy the stock instead.
That's right. That's what we should have done. Actually, the second my kids said that, we should open up Robinhood.
But I mean, we haven't seen. Is there anything that's like the staple of blockchain-based sports betting yet? We have prediction.
I wanted it to
markets,
be in dgens.com. Full disclosure, DGH owns a piece of dgens.com, but dgens didn't. Yeah, we'll talk to them again and see what happens. I have a really killer fantasy sports idea that I want to launch. Actually, if you're a person who could be a potential CEO of a company like that, that's somebody who's obsessed with fantasy, I've got an idea for you, and I will build it.
But you're gonna have to go along with the law.
DGB will build it. Well, give me a pitch that's a better idea, and we'll go your direction. What do I care? I mean, I just like an idea that I have. I want to do it. So I'm calling everyone out right now. If you're obsessed, you're into it, and you wanna play some fantasy sports with me and have a little fun, let's build this, because it can work for every sport. I think it'll be a lot of fun. Let's do it. Do we want to go back?
I mean,
to Bitcoin?
there are platforms that like they support crypto. Like you can use crypto for it. Of course, there's a lot of overlap with this market. But like, are they the ones that
I want it to be on
based
chain
on smart
and
contracts? Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So there's several. So there's Augur does it.
Oh,
What is
Augur.
People remember Augur. That's as a general category being prediction markets. There's
Yeah.
also UBet, which has an AMM specifically for on-chain sports betting, and then there's SBP, decentralized sports. And
I don't think anyone did it better than Degens in that they've made smart contracts for both sides of the betting market, and you can basically create any line you want, and you can put money on either side. And basically, they have market makers who are people who put them out there and do the thing.
When did they stop?
They didn't stop. It still exists. The problem is it's on Ethereum mainnet, and the fees are too high for the average bettor.
Right now is
Supposedly in November.
right now.
That's true. Right now, it's cool, but
I think
should have bet on the
it
Super
stopped
Bowl at
in.
DGen.
I'm reading something that says it stopped in November.
We have just enough room on Ethereum for all of our viewers right now to come play on Ethereum.
Oh, did Degens stop?
Yeah. Reportedly.
Oh, they just stopped. No, but I'm seeing
site's still up, but
the site's still up and people are using it.
Are they using it though?
Decentralized. There's soccer games on there, and there is the ability to bet. And let me go and look at recent trades. Recent trades happened yesterday. Yeah, or a couple days on the NFL. So people were betting on the NFL on there. It's just not very active because of so they came early, and what's cool was they integrated DAI at the beginning, so that in 2017, so that you could bet with US dollar using DAI, the decentralized stablecoin.
Well, now what's happening with DAI? If DAI is going away, though, DAI is going away because of Sky.
Oh, it's being called USDS. I think that's the new name.
But
or something.
If they're using DAI, does that ruin their protocol?
I would assume that.
Isn't it just you mean the new coin?
Yeah,
well,
they could probably switch it, but
it's the same standard. You can just switch out the standard. It's generally
probably fine. But
if they're using smart contracts, they're probably set.
We'll reach out to them and see if they want to launch on like.
Well, it depends how they're structured. They might need to like just launch new things and put that in the interface, or it could just be they point whatever active contracts are to the new, the new component. It might be modular. So yeah, interesting. But yeah, I think there's a lot of space for this to grow, and no one's I haven't seen much capitalize off of it, and probably mostly because it's like, well, supporting crypto is one thing, like as a medium of exchange, but like contract integration,
the on ramps and off ramps.
Yeah,
the on ramps and off ramps have to be better than they are right now.
So
because you have to be able to bet with dollars and all that.
Or I think the other thing is there are inherent advantages to using smart contract based logic and those types of protocols than using the centralized means of doing it. Because for every type of betting they have, every pool, there has to be people there monitoring it, making sure it's okay, checking for exploits, all of that. To do it in a centralized way is hard and risky, and probably like there's a lot of insurance that they have to pay for it. But like you do it like on a blockchain, for one thing, I mean, like the trustless system matters. I mean, that eases a lot of burden, but also programmatically, you could probably do a lot more things. You can let people create pools of their own type and just let it run automated in that way. There's so much more that can be done more dynamically once you move to a smart contract based system than but the only disadvantage, it's a big one, but I mean, if people find like, hey, I can't do it anywhere else, there is no centralized alternative to this.
There's a few others.
It's only these that enable this. Well, then you will go and do it. Like you'll go through those hoops and get it done. And we saw that with NFT art because it was like, well, yeah, I mean, you could do this in a centralized way though, but no, the product exists because it's decentralized. So therefore, even though, yes, you can facilitate these types of transactions in a centralized way, it doesn't matter if you do. Sports betting though, look, as long as you get paid.
I want the whole thing is I'd like something to be built that's also kind of a game in itself. So you are betting on sports and there's a little skill and thought involved or whatever, but it's not just like a bet. I put in 20, I get back 20 or 25 or whatever the thing is. I want there to be more to it, more like fantasy where you're kind of involved, but you can be passive also. I've got an idea for it, obviously, so I'm leaned in that direction. But I think it can be done, and smart contracts make it even better, in my opinion, more transparent and cool. And maybe you can create different user interfaces for it too if you do that, and that makes it pretty rad and fun also. What were you gonna say, Rankin?
It does look like there's sports betting sites. There's like DexSports.io.
Yeah, there's a bunch that
There's
I don't think any of them have I think some have volume, but nobody has like a critical mass or something. That's really exciting.
People would actually have to be in crypto in order for that to happen.
Exactly.
They're too busy. If they're in crypto, they're on Solana probably playing meme coins right now, unfortunately.
Most of them, and not even that. That's not even that's a lot of people, but it's not a meaningful amount to the whole industry.
No.
The majority of the industry is on Coinbase, right?
Yeah.
Or even Robinhood, right? People that talk about how many people are in crypto, that all their crypto exists on one of those exchanges or on Robinhood or something. That's a majority of the people, right?
No,
and then we talked about this with politics, right? My cousin, who's super into crypto, owns more crypto than the average person, has participated in the space a lot, doesn't live on Twitter like the rest of us do, right? After the election, after Trump was elected and Bitcoin did what it did for a moment, he called me up. He's like, what's this thing with Trump and crypto? Like, I didn't know that was a thing. And most of the people voting didn't know it was a thing either, right? And unless you live on Twitter, on crypto Twitter, you don't even know that he even spoke at the Bitcoin conference. And I was like, you didn't know he spoke at the Bitcoin conference? He's like, I don't know what you're talking about. And he literally owns more crypto than the average person, right?
I don't understand how you could be in crypto and stay on Coinbase and Robinhood and never know what your crypto actually does.
How many people buy stocks and things and pay attention to the earnings reports and really know what's going on in that company, right? It's a lot of people. It's like a little. It's just glorified gambling, right?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Right? Because like Lunar Crush.
I buy stocks because I like the product.
Yeah, no, that makes sense, right? But how many people then go? Because my son said something to me about his Tesla stock or one of the stocks he has, because he has one share of Tesla, one share of something else. Like some stocks. Yeah, we went on Robinhood and I gave him a budget. We talked about it, and he had to pick some stocks because he wanted to buy some stocks. But then I said something to him, and I said, well, there's going to be a quarterly earnings report and this and that, and that's what's going on in the news. I have no idea what they're talking about. You're the one who has to pay attention to your portfolio. And he went and looked it up and checked it out. And he's like, they might do a dividend from this stock, and now he knows what a dividend is. But
so what's he say about Roblox? You go, Dad, you need to spend more Robux. My company's losing money.
You know what's funny is I don't think he bought any Roblox stock. I got to give him a hard time for that. It's right. Like he should, of all, the kids should know better. I mean,
kids,
he spend all their life on
Roblox. You think they don't stop?
That's funny.
I do want to try Roblox. I haven't yet.
What?
But
you haven't at all?
No.
Hey. Oh wait.
To be honest, I wasn't.
Next time we don't have a guest
until recently.
Okay,
so I heard of that concept of what it was, but I didn't realize that that's what Roblox was.
We're gonna do a Roblox live stream, maybe next week, or maybe just random. Next week, do we have somebody on?
I don't think so yet.
So maybe next week, and if not, it's just gonna be a random time. We'll just go live. We're gonna just play Roblox on the live stream, and maybe we'll build a game together. I'll show you guys how. I'll share my screen, show you Punk Ape Strong Super Awesome Festival of Fun, which is a Roblox experience I created. You can become friends on Roblox with Punk Ape Strong, and we could play some games together. Kevin hit the wrong button and dropped either that, or he's like, this Roblox talk is super lame. I got to get out of here.
I'm back.
You're the one who brought up Roblox, and then you just disconnect the second we start talking.
I love it though. Yeah. My 9-year-old is making games, and he was totally excited and pumped that like 65 people have played his game so far.
That's a lot of people. I don't think 65 people have played the Punk Ape Strong experience, and I talked about it on Twitter and shared it with a bunch of people. Right? So
he got one thumbs up, he got a thumbs down. I'm like, we got to figure out why you got a thumbs down.
Who the heck gave him a thumbs down? What a bunch of jerks!
Yeah.
We gotta.
I'm trying to get my daughter and my son to collab though, because my daughter
It's hard
it's
sometimes.
crazy. My daughter builds these intricate cities in Bloxburg, right? And she runs. She's only like 12 years old, but she runs a what do they call that when they play role play?
Yeah.
And I was telling her, hey, we got to do something. She's like, well, Dad, I'm busy right now. I'm mentoring another person on how to role play. I know, going
It's
like
called a wait, is it RP? I forgot.
RP.
They literally have all the acronyms for everything. And there's RPs.
And
Those
so
are the obstacle
she
games.
runs these groups as a 12-year-old. I was like, okay. So she's great at building these towns, though, and these buildings and all that. Maybe she'll be an architect or something down the road, right? But I'm like, okay, you need to team up with your brother and help start building out some of these levels more.
I wonder how many parents have kids that play like Minecraft and whatever, and my kid's gonna be an architect. Probably 100%.
No, I don't know.
We're gonna have a lot of architects.
No. But here's the thing: I force my kids to create. I'm like, don't just sit there and play games. You need to start building.
The best creation. Yes.
And so my kids like to build. It's incentivized in my house to go build something. Like we tell people like go build. My daughter writes music. They're artists. We're builders in this house.
Probably beyond architecture, though. Probably invention in an even bigger sense, because you can integrate electronics. You can integrate like energy and all types of connectivity beyond like a static structure in itself. So they're actually getting trained in all these multiple disciplines through a game as a kid. Yeah. And so they're taking it to another level, and we can't even understand as our generations have been.
No, I can't. I was building all sorts of games when I was in high school.
But we won't even know. Just like when we were kids, we're like, wow, we don't even know what the future is going to look like. And it's like, we couldn't. Like the terms we're all using.
I'm playing my game right now.
Jeez, man.
Playing the game that you made.
Games during work hours.
Ape Strong, super awesome festival of fun right here. Oh, you can't see it, totally blurred.
There it is.
But I built that game. Hold on, I'm about to get in my car to drive over.
So that's what Roblox did really well, is they built great tools.
Yeah. So Roblox, separate from what they did, and this is a tease for when next week or sometime when we do a Roblox focused episode, is they built essentially a like the WordPress for games, right? Look at that. I don't know if you guys will be able to see it, but that's a giant Pug Ape Strong statue in the middle of the game. That's really far away. You see the moon is setting right now behind it.
Nice.
He's walking, holding his guitar over his shoulder. I took that. I took a picture of Woody Guthrie and I modeled it after that. It's super fun.
Go ahead. Question. There's not enough hijacked Bitcoin out there for reserve. So I mean, what's that really mean though? I mean, like, okay, so they can't buy enough Bitcoin, but they can absolutely pump up the price, right? I mean, what's enough Bitcoin? The reserve.
There's definitely enough if the price is right.
Right? Yeah.
Because they're optimizing for their own values, right?
Sharing the screen right now. So we had a little update with Tezos.finance and
Coop is here too. What's up, Coop?
The old version.
I think we're almost done though.
Kind of look like
we are about to sign off, but that's okay. We get to see Coop even for a minute. It's cool.
Nah, y'all gotta stretch the show out 30 more minutes, man. Cause I just got here, man. Come on, y'all.
That's on you, Alon.
I have to go in a minute, but if you guys want to stay on, let's do it. Let's figure it out.
I'll stay on and entertain everyone.
So check this out. In the past, we had it like this. Let me get a version of it. It was like this. You had one column, and you had to click on it, and then it's supply, and then borrow. But it's like especially if you're a newcomer, you don't know to do that. So it's just a list of stuff. And so what the hell? There's no call to action. So now we have this thing called buttons, they told me. So you click on them and they say something on them so you know what they do. And then it's clear. So
Thanks for joining, Emilio.
that's what we got
You got
now. So now
on
you know
one of
the
these weeks.
supply.
That's awesome. No, that's like
Yeah.
a good user interface update. Learning from
And we made this we made the collateral button purpley. It's a little bit thicker and fatter. But yeah, more updates to come. There'll be more stuff like that. You might
Yeah.
even put in a repay button for the borrowed tokens. And also, I think even a withdraw switch, to which would be grayed out and deactivated once you turn the collateral on. So yeah, and then that you have a full, you can just look at the screen, you know what everything is. That's what you need to do. So yeah, we wanted to do it a long time ago, but there were other kind of back end fish to fry. So I think we're going to start seeing updates to TezFin happen a lot quicker, a lot smoother. We're more adaptable, scalable now. So it should be nice. Should be fun.
We need
Check
to
out
have
Tezos.finance. Tezos.finance if you haven't been there yet. That's all. That is all. I just wanted to show that. .finance. .finance. Tezos.finance.
We need to have Emilio on sometime.
Yeah, we should. We should have Emilio on. Coop, before we sign
Emilio!
off, how are you doing? Oh, you're
Oh,
muted.
you're muted.
Two of my music NFTs are trending right now on Sound, like top
heck yeah.
100 top. So y'all should go check my music out. It's like it's getting better. You know what I mean?
Well,
it's real
follow
too.
Coop.
A lot of it's real.
Follow Coop on Twitter, and on Twitter he has the links for that music shared. And let's all go and check that out after we have to sign off right now.
I just went to sound.xyz and I typed in Coop and it came up.
Oh, awesome. Perfect.
Yeah.
Everybody do that.
Yeah, it's there. It's there.
All right. Sounds good.
Oh, no. How was y'all week, man? I know I'm just catching y'all. What y'all been up to all week?
Work. We don't call it work. We call it play.
That's right. We talked. You missed our riveting Super Bowl talk, but Kevin is from Philly. Kevin's from Philly.
Watch.
Yeah, rewind. Just rewind it, man.
I just finished watching the halftime show, the Kendrick Lamar halftime show.
Yeah, a lot of.
By the way, have you given thought to making this show into a distributed podcast using the Anchor or Sound?
Let's do it.
We should.
Anchor's now bought by. I used to be able to say Anchor. Just go to Anchor, but now it's like Spotify bought it, so it's Spotify podcast, which just kind of sounds weird. It's like, what, you want me to go to the music player? No.
Yeah, let's do a show like the Tom Green show. Remember that shit? That shit was funny, man. We should do the Tom Green show.
Do you guys even know what Coop is talking about? He did it like a public access show. It was like so low budget. It was awesome, and it was like he's so funny, but like so stupid he's funny. You know, it's like it's an act, but it's not an act. It's like it's great.
Yeah. He's lucky he didn't get his ass whooped. He's real lucky he didn't get his ass whooped. Some of that stuff he used to do, man.
Oh my god,
so many times.
You know, like the Between Two Ferns, Zach Galifianakis stuff. It's kind of like if that was a real show that happened every single week, and nobody knew when they were coming on the show that the dude was going to act that way. Like,
yeah,
it was great.
Kind of like Borat as well.
Yeah.
In a way, like there was like a Canadian Borat element to it where you just go into a store and mess everything up, you know. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. But like, yeah, I remember in middle school, that was like the show you'd hear about. Middle school, high school, like people would talk about like the next day, like, oh, the Tom Green show. You see that? Like it was just one of those messed up things that maybe your parents were like it was maybe too late for like a school night, and maybe your parents didn't want you to watch. Like, what is this garbage kind of thing? Yeah, of course, which just makes you want to watch it more. But yeah, he has a new documentary out, Tom Green show, or Tom Green, about his life and styling. But yeah, I mean, go to guys.
I literally need to go back and watch those episodes.
Anchor.fm.
I mean, I'm down. We should also make this like official, because every single time we have you guys on, it's like it's very last minute and not planned. And we should just have like one a month at least, or every other week we have the whole crew on, and make it like an actual scheduled thing instead of like, you online right now? Hop on.
even more than that though, on YouTube, like the name of it and the metadata, because it's hard to find. It's hidden. Like it's
No,
like
if you
purposely
just go
hidden.
to DGB Ventures at DGB Ventures, and actually, I didn't even say this. We're gonna have a new version of the DGB website up soon, which will actually have links to the streams and stuff too.
But I think most
go
people
to dgb.vc and sign up on the newsletter. By the way, we didn't even say that if you're in Southern California next week on Wednesday, we're going to do an open blockchain co-working hang session. Kevin, I'm saying
but
that
I
because
want to go to
you
YouTube.
can be there.
So I want to go to YouTube and just like my instinct is to type in DGB show. And then and it does come up actually when you put it. Well, actually, maybe that's just for me, but it doesn't, like the new one doesn't come up. I just see 2024 playlist. So it's like, it's not getting me to the live episode. Like I want to see the latest and greatest, like to come to the top. So let's ask Gemini or whatever how to do that.
Hold on. What's better, dgb.show or dgb.live?
I would have all variants in the description so it'll come up. Like find a way to put them all in there, and not just that, but blockchain should be in there, or crypto should be in there, because people, especially now, like now's the time. People are looking for Web3 content. People are looking for Web3 content, but they, like if it's just kept to like the initials, then it's like this could be an accounting firm, but like it's like no, this is the Web3 thing. Whereas with blockchain and booze, well, that's unmistakable. You're not going to get like 40 different blockchain and booze things come up. There's only one.
So should we rename the show and call it, like
not necessarily
crypto family?
Well, you can call it X if you want. But
remember,
it's just
I used to do
what
the block. That was what I called my random live stream.
Well, because like Mark Maron has the WTF, the podcast, the famous
what the
WTF
block,
podcast. There's, I think, or DGB, or the DGB crypto show, or the DGB, variety, the DGB Web3
Welcome
show.
to the DGB Variety Hour.
Yeah. We're all wearing rhinestone.
Our live performances by Coop. Well, we can make it happen. And we should make it weird too. By the way, I think we have done a pretty poor job of making this really weird. I think we need to make it weirder. I'm throwing that into the mix.
I think I'm in my studio. I can play music right now.
Let people find out. Not only that, but for
I'm literally in my studio like right now. I could literally play some tight shit for y'all.
People search their podcast apps for things like blockchain, crypto, Web3, and what comes up, they'll add a few, and then they'll listen to a bunch, and then they'll keep the ones they like, and then maybe find others and things like that. But like to capitalize off of that, I think is like, otherwise it's a missed opportunity. I mean, let them see it. You did the hard part. I just gotta.
We showed up. Remember what we talked about earlier? We showed up. Showed up. The hardest part, right?
Say hello.
I think the hardest part is preparing for showing up. For me, it's easier to show up than to prepare.
Just show up. Just show up.
I mean,
okay, guys, I have to drop. Rankin, are you sticking on for a little bit? Because you're the only other admin on here. Otherwise, we got to wrap it up.
I got to go, but if you guys want to keep talking.
Okay, guys, we're wrapping it up. So again, I'm going to say the DGB thing. Go to dgb.vc at DGB Ventures everywhere, including YouTube, so you can find it. At Coop Deville 2000, you see it right there for Coop. Kevin is at K Merabi, KMEHRABI. Guys, thank you so much for hanging. Go on to X, go to sound.xyz and search Coop. Let's go check out his NFT songs, and we'll see you guys next week.
And I will say that we are working on some cool companies right now.
Really cool companies.
Them as speakers down the road.
Yes. And if not, we'll play Roblox.
Go Birds.
Together. All right. Peace, guys.